Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Saturday, the 28th of September. I am Callum and I'm hoping you are all very, very well. All right, we've arrived on Cambridgeshire Saturday. So, for the uninformed, the Cambridgeshire is a massive, chunky, strangely 9 furlong race at Newmarket that's got a lot of history. Challenge is when you've got 30 odd runners on a flat race, it certainly doesn't make it easy. And in terms of percentage chance of trying to get a framer in there, when most bookies are paying 6, is not the easiest task. So I will have a little dabble on it. But generally speaking, two things I would say is one is I think it's a bit slim pickings generally speaking this Saturday in terms of from a value perspective. Last week we were sat with 2 Yankees. I've got 2 bets this week, one combination double and one actual double, like each way double. So interest in 4 races, but there's no Trixies, no Yankees, no Canadians, none of that sort of shenanigans. So yes, slim pickings, partly due to the ground. I think it's just been one of them weeks where it's been a bit of a minefield on the ground. So I've generally been a bit quieter in terms of selections, and that will always be the case when the ground is a little bit volatile. So, take the example of Newmarket. Basically went heavy in terms of start Friday. It was soft by the end of it. It might even dry out to be good by the time the Cambridgeshire goes on. It's very hard to tell. Some tracks dry out and get really quickly. Some literally the water goes on and 2 seconds later the going's changed completely. So I think that by the time the Cambridges are on, my gut says I think it'll be good to soft. So it's sort of in between ground, which is not really ideal. Because you kind of I'd much rather have one or t'other rather than in between. But there we go. So that's Cambridgeshire and Newmarket, but then you look at Listowel this week and bonkers. I mean, they reckon the ground was soft today. It was sort of soft to heavy if you look at most publications in terms of what they're saying. But to my eye, that ground did not look like the horses were digging in. There certainly wasn't a lot of horses pulling up in it. It definitely looked much more, to me, I would describe just by a sight, that looked much more like yielding ground at Listowel. The weather forecast is actually quite good for the Irish track, so it's likely to be that Listowel and the Curragh might end up going towards good as well from a ground perspective. So it's just really, really tricky. Anywho, there's my weather perspective. Let's just have a quick spin through. What was Friday? Rubbish. We didn't get anywhere near, did we? That was just a pile of garbage. Just disappointing, really. None of the 3 got that near. And from a price perspective as well, I think they all went off bigger. Which is unusual. So, no good. So I think we're £36 on this week, and we've only had a few quid back, and that was basically refunds. So there's been nothing to cheer. Came back last week. Friday we had a winner, but we lost overall. Saturday we obviously had a great day. Sunday 1 horse it placed, and then we've had an out to cheer since Sunday. So let's see if we can turn the tide on Saturday. But as I said, being a little bit cautious. All right, so bet 1, combo double. We'll have a crack at the Cambridgeshire, and absolutely my preferred race to go with it is the 5:30 at Curragh. I'd imagine it's probably going to end up with about 13, 14 runners that race, but it's currently 16 runners, so it is currently 5 places. It will probably go to 4, I would imagine. In at 3:40 Newmarket, the Cambridgeshire, Sky are 8. Most bookies are 6. So we're going in the Cambridgeshire. Bo Pedro, Dutch Decoy, Majestic. I had a long list, got it down to a short list, got it down to 3. I wasn't planning it to be this way, but basically those are all horses that ran in the race last year. 2 of them ran in the race the year before. Between them, they finished Bo Pedro finished, I think, 3rd last year. Dutch Decoy, Majestic, top 6, and they were top 7 the year before. So lots of previous course form. And they're probably all, well, certainly Dutch Decoy and Majestic would prefer it on the good side. But yeah, they've got lots and lots of good form at Newmarket, and there was nothing else when I got down to the bottom 3 that I was I was kind of like, yeah, I would want to play another angle in there. So I'm kind of going with a tried and tested trio in Cambridgeshire. And then the 5:30 Curragh, we've got Hurricane Ivor 18s, Current Option 20s, and Salah Bell at 25s. So the bet is 9 times 25p each way, doubles. So that's 9 possible combinations of double, 25p each way, 450. No singles on any of those. I think the racing is a bit too open to be starting putting singles down it. So we're just going to go for the combination double, and the aim really is, can we try and snag 3 places across 2 races? That's the aim of the game. If we get more than that, or we manage to get 2 winners, then delightful. But that would be enough to get us profit. So if we can land a place in the Cambridgeshire and then get a couple up at the Curragh, happy days. But we'll see. Sky best because you've got 8 and 5, and then it's 6 and 5. But as I said, I think it'll probably go down to 4. So I've put the best bookie advice for that 5:30 Curragh, but as soon as there's a non-runner, most bookies are going to be 4 anyway. So that's the bet. So that's 450 for bet 1, and then bet 2. Right. So I keep needing to write this stuff on the star system. I mean, even usually what sits behind what I actually show you on the screen is a whole bunch of horses, and there really is not much at all I'm interested in on Saturday. So I've left with these 2. So 4:45 Newmarket, Run Boy Run. That is a horse that's a Newmarket regular. Ran 6 times, 2 wins, 2 seconds, 2 sevenths. So what's that? 66.6 recurring chance of coming in the first 2 in it, if you just take that on bare form. It's ground versatile, so it has been running on soft, but it has done all right on the good ground as well, so I'm not so worried about the ground. I think it's still got a bit of progression in it. I just think it was a bit of a flopper last time, and I think you can excuse that run. So it not a big price, 11 to 1, and to be honest, if it was single figures I'd have left the thing out, but it's a 1 star on my rating system for Run Boy Run, 4:45. And then 4:55 the Curragh, I have gone rogue. This horse is nowhere near the star system. So every now and again I will put up a horse that doesn't fall in neatly into the star system. It didn't fall into the star system, just generally on bare form. And then when you chuck in the fact it's the Student Derby, so a bunch of very, very inexperienced amateur jockeys, predominantly speaking. It's not a race I would advise people get involved in. That being said, there's a few things that were attracted to me that don't necessarily fall into my criteria from a star system point of view. So let me give you a bit of an explanation why I'm playing in the Student Derby, because that's just, literally, that's. I'm saying it out loud and it sounds ridiculous, but anyway, right, I'll give you the good case for it, because I think there is a really good case for this horse, to be fair. So jockey-wise, in the Student Derby, really inexperienced jockeys. Some of them have never ridden under rules before at all, and then others have, but some of them like more regularly over jumps. So this horse has got Paddy Barlow on it, who has got a decent amount of runs under his belt, riding mainly in the UK. But has got previously in Ireland. Interestingly, the last running of this race, Paddy Barlow won it. And I think, generally I'm not into amateur racing in terms of the amateur jockey stuff, because I think you get inconsistent results. But what I would say, in a race like this, the jockey experience will count for quite a bit. It's a reasonable sized field, it's 15 runners. Some of them have never been on that course before. He has won on that course before, won the Student Derby, so he's got some experience, and he's way more experienced than most of the other jockeys in the race. So that's a good start. When you then actually look at the horse, it's making handicap debut, which is very interesting itself. It's running 4 maidens, and really one of those was an interesting performance. The others you could pretty much write off, and one of them was absolutely so atrocious you couldn't believe it. So the one race where I'm particularly interested in, where I think it absolutely shows something, it ran over course and distance at the Curragh, similar ground in a maiden, and it was it 5th? I think it was 5th of 8th, something like that. 4th or 5th of 8th. I can't remember if it was 4th or 5th. I think it was 4th. Anyway, horses that finished ahead of it. 2 of them are like borderline rock stars. So they've got on to go on to marks of 100, and the horse was four lengths off them. So 4 lengths off a couple of horses rated 100, and this one's chucked in on handicap debut on a mark of 67. Now, if you go into an amateur race like this, you're less likely to be penalised as heavily by the handicapper if you do go and put in a decent performance. So there's a reason to say you could be in there for. And you know, from a prize money perspective, it's actually reasonable prize money for the grade of race. So yeah, it's an interesting starting point for this horse to put it in there. But yeah, on that form, that if you just took that form as literal and you ignored the other runs, the horse is like £20 well in. It'd be ridiculous. But let's actually see if that sort of stands true. The other thing on the horse is if you look at breeding, again, I don't take breeding into account through the star system specifically. It's a different type of criteria I look at. The horse is full sister to 3 horses that have run under rules, and 2 of them are in sort of in the late 90s, early 100 mark in terms of handicap mark, and this one's off 67. So great breeding. There has been a maiden performance, and it's got a jockey. There's so many things going for it. It just would normally be a race I wouldn't get involved in, just because of the inconsistencies of the jockey. So that's the case for Alfheim. So 75p each way double. We've got a 75p each way single. Oh no, I've done it the wrong way round. Oh no. Right. If you're listening on mute, wrong way round. The single is on Alfheim. The 75p each way single is on Alfheim. £1 win single on Run Boy Run. It's late and I've written my colours the wrong way round. So hopefully that's very, very clear, okay? The only people who are going to get this wrong are listening on mute and they're now confused about what I'm banging on about. So if you're at work and you're in a toilet listening to this, then I'm sorry, that's your own fault. Anyway, 75p each way single, Alfheim, £1 win single, Run by Run. Sky are best because they are 5 here, most bookies are 4, everybody's free on that one. So £4 is the bet. All right. Yeah, that's. I'm still trying to get over myself that the horse I've bigged up most all day is in the student derby. It doesn't even make my star rating system. Okay, there we go. All right, I'll go on my merry way. You enjoy your weekend, and I need to check in with Stephen about the tipster thing, but there seemed to be a lot of interest. I think we had about 70 or 80 likes on that comment last week, so I'll check in with Stephen, and as long as he's still good, the plan is that we would bring the Tipster League back for next Saturday, so for the start of October, and we'll run it then potentially till the end of December, and we'll see where we get to there. That is the current plan. All right. That's me. Thank you very much. I will likely be doing a video Saturday night because it's the Irish Cesarovic on Sunday, and I might have a little interest at the Southwell or weather meeting that's been added in, as long as I can find that they've got some jockeys to go there, because I appreciate that there's a lot of uproar from the jockeys adding in. It was literally like northern based jockeys, it was their only Sunday off in like ages, and then they go and chuck a meeting in to replace Fosslas. I don't know if anyone's ever looked at the map, but Fosslas and Southwell, they're not near each other. So the horses that were going to run at Fosslas, I'm not sure they would be the same ones running at Southwell, but there you go. All right, thank you very much. That's me. Bye-bye.